What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike, and we are discussing season 3, episode 6 of Marvel's What If series. And this is What If 1872, and focuses a lot on Shang Chi and Kate Bishop. And I'm just going to venture a guess, Anthony, that because you have it as your background, that you actually like this episode.
I did. I really did. I'm telling you, after deciding that this is not the what if that I expected,
Mm-hmm.
it has made it a little bit more enjoyable. Which is funny because this seems like an episode to the throwback of what if, what I was looking for, this anthology stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they made it even more enjoyable. It
Okay.
was like, oh, this is nice. This is good. This is,
See,
yeah, this,
all you needed was a change of perspective. That's all you needed.
yeah, it's amazing what a slight change in your perspective can do.
Okay. All right. So I will say this to start this episode off. It will never, ever, ever get old seeing John Walker get punched in the face.
Bruh.
When they
That
start
was,
the episode off and he's there, first of all, that first scene, I was looking at it like, so are we about to get Kill Bill Part 1? Because it literally looks like the church where they gunned down the bride and they had that whole thing. So I was like, oh, okay. So is this telling me
See,
what I should expect?
see, for me, it looked like the church from the recent version of um the Magnificent Seven.
yeah. Or
So
the one that Western movie with Jonathan Majors.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
That
the
Netflix.
harder
That's
they
what it
fall.
kind of reminded me of. I was just
Yeah.
like, okay.
I mean,
I
all
was
of
into
those
it.
are good
but
ones
I
because
mean,
they're
what
all
Western?
Western.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what Western doesn't have an old dilapidated church as the
right.
Yeah.
last as the last stand?
Right. But yeah, so when you come in and you have the little group and you hear John Walker, and first of all, when I heard his voice, I just rolled my eyes like, okay, what are we about to
It's
do?
it's it's, on, it's just an automatic response now. Every time you hear his voice, you just like everyone's just like, oh, here comes fucking great value Cap again. Like, damn.
Right. Even some of his lines in the beginning of this, because he's leading this group. They're trying to summon Shang-Chi, and they're talking about like the whole premise of this episode is that there is a presence in the West called the Hood, and apparently he has been taking Chinese immigrants who have come over to the New World to get a better life. They've been working on the railroads and they've been kidnapped, and the Hood has taken these Chinese immigrants. We don't know why, but basically he's looking for power, and he's using Americans' fear of these new immigrants to kind of build his power. And so nobody's really looking
Hmm.
for these immigrants. I know we're not even, so nobody's looking for these immigrants except for Shang-Chi, because his sister was one of the people who came over looking for a better life, got into a fight with this so-called Hood, and disappeared. So he's out looking for her with his partner Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. And when John Walker summons them there and they start fighting, Shang-Chi starts asking him, and he's like, where's the Hood? Where's my sister? And John Walker said something about, what do I care about a bunch of Chinese immigrants? I said, oh my God, yes, they really did keep him an asshole in this
And
episode.
then Chang-Chi gave him five to the backhand side. I was like, oh, damn. You're like, whoosh.
He was like,
Let me ask you
I,
again.
I tell you, I tell you. So thankfully, that was
Wait,
the
before
only time that we saw. Thankfully, that was the only time we saw him in this episode, because I was like, if I have to listen to him for the entire episode, this is going to get real old real quick, because that's one of those characters that just, I'm already trying to bite my tongue because we're going to have to deal with him in Thunderbolts. And I'm like, do we really have to see this character? It's okay. They dealt with
Okay,
him and they moved on.
so so I'm gonna even though I changed my perspective, I'm going to bring up my bone to pick. And you know what my bone to pick is? I've said it almost every episode so far. Stop bringing in these quote unquote obscure characters that no one's going to know, right? Like if you're watching What If, which I know What If is not really for the mainstream people, but if the mainstream people are going to watch What If, they don't know who John Walker is. And then they're like, well, who the hell is John Walker? And you would like to say, like Mike says, well, maybe it'll encourage them to go back and watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But why? Because you wouldn't even know that's where you would find John Walker.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't even know, like, who's John Walker? Why should I care? So to them, it's just John Walker is just a character. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, but
you see what I'm saying?
yeah, but you could say the same thing about Sonny Birch too. I mean, it's like they brought back the villain from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's like it like
we could just rattle them all off.
Okay,
All
so
these
him, I did not
characters
remember. I did
that
not. I was
I,
like, who is this
as
character?
soon
that
as I
was
heard Walter Goggins' voice, I knew exactly that's who the fuck it was. I
that's
was like,
scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel.
okay.
That
Sonny Birch
character.
is more of the side of the barrel than the very bottom. He's more of a side scrape character. I mean, it's
And
like
hey, the only redeeming quality is that he was actually in a movie, and
yeah,
and maybe a Marvel person, a mainstream Marvel, because I don't consider us mainstream Marvel fans, but a mainstream Marvel fan might remember if they saw the movie who he was. Because I had to think about. I'm like, how did I had to think about it? Wait, who is he again?
no, I
Like I
caught
said,
no, I caught.
I didn't remember.
I caught him right. It's his voice. How can you not? Walter
No, no,
Goggins
no.
has a
Okay, so I
voice.
know the
I
voice,
got heard a voice, but
but
I had
the
it took me a minute to
character,
figure out where he was from.
right. Right. Yeah, I was sitting there looking like, who is this character? Like the voice sounds familiar. And funnily enough, they actually drew the character to look like him. So that was a no-brainer. But the name Sonny Birch, I was like, I feel like I should know this name. I feel like it's like tickling the back of my brain, but I couldn't figure it
Okay,
out. But I mean, it's like I understand what they're doing as far as pulling in the obscure characters because these are not, I think, for the quote unquote, like you said, mainstream people, Anthony. I think if you, I kind of want to say maybe they're trying not to confuse the people who aren't the over and above fans like us because it's like you look at some of the characterizations of who we see in let's say in this episode specifically Shang-Chi, Jai-Lin, Kate Bishop. If you've watched any of the properties with those characters, they pretty much are the same thing on screen in this and in another one. Maybe they're bringing in the obscure characters just because we need some random bad guys, and it doesn't matter if you just put them in here for 3-4 minutes and then just kind of toss them to the side. At least it's just again a tickle your brain thing because someone would have heard John Walker's name before, and even if they don't watch the shows, they probably would have looked him up by now because he's sitting in the back of Alexi's car in the trailer for the Thunderbolts. So it's like if you're
Right? And
including him in the major releases, maybe they'll be curious enough to say, okay, who is this guy? And why is he wearing, yeah.
let's step back for just. I know this is not about what if, but let's just step back for a second and look at the bigger picture, right? Who's gonna go watch Thunderbolts?
Ah.
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about the mainstream Marvel audience. Who's gonna go watch Thunderbolts?
Most of them probably
I'm worried.
will.
I'm worried.
no,
Really?
no,
I'm
I'm
worried.
not
yeah, no, they're
because
going.
I'm worried. No, I'm worried because you look at the only I have to look again, but I think the only like recognizable real person on there is going to be
Bucky.
Bucky.
And I think that'll be enough to bring
You
What else do
people
you
think
in.
need?
that's going to be enough?
Yes,
Boy, then he better
absolutely.
be all over the marketing. Like he better be all over
Bucky and
marketing.
Yelena. Yelena has a way bigger
No, no, no,
following
no,
than
no,
you
no.
think.
But here's the
No, no, no,
thing:
no. Yelena is only for people who watched Black
Black
Widow. And
Widow
how many
and
was that?
Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye. And how many was that?
I'm just no.
All
What
the
no. What
word.
I'm saying is they're putting her forward, so they're putting her forward in enough time where people can actually figure out who she is.
Putting
It's
her
like
for where? Where?
the first
If you had
Trailers.
in the trailers
if you
in the
have
first trailer, it was
never
basically mostly all her. Like
if
she
you
was the
have never watched any of the Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus, you watch that trailer, you might know Ghost and you definitely know Bucky.
no, you're not gonna know Ghost.
I was gonna say I would think
It would be a
people would know
stretch.
Yelena before they would know Ghost, because Yelena, for those people who are part of that original Avengers diehard fans, they went to go see Black
No,
Widow.
no, no,
They
no,
went
no, no, no,
they
no.
went
I'm not. That's a different category of people. I'm talking about the audience that makes the money, the audience that makes the movies
the audience
money.
that makes the money are the people
No,
who
no,
go
no,
to
no,
see
no,
the
no.
movies,
No,
and she was in Black Widow.
so the people, the mainstream MCU fans who only really watch the Avengers, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity Saga, Infinity War, those people did not watch. I'm telling you, they did not watch Black Widow. They didn't.
And see, I
The numbers were show. The
disagree.
numbers show. The numbers show. The movie was a bomb. It flopped.
The
So
movie
no,
was a
those people
bomb
did
and
not
it
go see that
flopped
because the
because,
people did not go see it. But this
but
needs to hear me.
I don't
Let's get
think it
back.
was the
Let's get.
mainstream people who didn't go see it. The people who were invested in the Avengers went to go see it because finally we're getting a Black Widow film, even though it was late and there was a
No,
whole bunch of mess behind it. But I think the other people who had probably come in during the Infinity Saga saw what phase 4 started to be, because remember, Black Widow got released like towards the end of phase 4. They had already started doing the shows. They had already done I think a couple of other movies. So the ones who aren't as invested, those are the ones who didn't go see Black Widow. Those of
you're
us
right.
who like,
They didn't.
yeah,
Yeah, the people like us and Mike, we went to go see Black Widow because we're kind of invested into the MCU.
mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the majority of the people who push these movies up over $1 billion. Those are the people that don't watch the Disney Plus shows. Those are the people who are like my mother-in-law, who, yeah, she's watched Avengers and Avengers Endgame, and if she watches those all the time, but she's not going to watch Quantumania. She's not going to watch Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. She's definitely not watching any of the Disney Plus TV shows. That's your typical fan. That's your
Right. And
typical person.
that's why Mike
They
and I were
didn't go see
saying it
right, but
makes
they're
no
not. I'm
sense for
telling you,
them to
they're
recognize
not.
Ghost over Yelena.
No, that was I was just saying. If anything, maybe they saw the Ant Man movies, because those were the
Over
movies.
Black Widow.
Because yeah, because who?
Oh,
Yeah,
you really think
yeah.
that people went to
Oh,
go see
let me go. Let me pull
Ant-Man
up.
2
Let me pull up the
over Black
numbers.
Widow?
Let me put up the numbers and see which movie most people saw. Because I'm
Yeah, because
sure.
now I'm curious about that.
Okay, but anyway, we continue our discussion about what if. But I just wanted to say that I'm just worried about Thunderbolts because I don't think the majority of people are going to go see that movie.
I think the trailers did a good enough job to make people curious about it. I think it'll do fine. I mean, to your point, it's like most people don't know that Sam is Captain wouldn't put Sam and Captain America together unless they stay to the end of Endgame. And they definitely don't know who Falcon is because Falcon was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they wouldn't know who Isaiah Bradley is, or they look at Harrison Ford and be like, who the why's fucking Indiana Jones in it? So it's like if you're afraid of for Thunderbolts, you need to be afraid for the
I am.
Captain America movie too.
I am
I'm not
afraid for
afraid
that
for either
movie
one of them.
too.
I think it'll be fine.
I hate to say it. I do agree with Anthony. I'm afraid for Captain America because of all the reasons that you just listed, Mike. Now, Me, you know me. I love Sam Wilson. I love Captain America. I'm going to see the movie regardless. It can be a flop and I'm still going to go see the movie because I love those characters and I'm invested in that story. It's the same reason why I'm going to see Thunderbolts because I'm invested in Bucky Barnes. Now, why they don't have Bucky and Sam in the same movie, that I'm hoping they will explain in one or two or both of those films. But it's kind of like I get what you're saying, and I think Anthony is right. They're gonna have to do some heavy promotion for Captain America, which I have seen they've started to do because of the fact that you don't have the people who put it together that, when Steve Rogers gave Sam the shield, he really was passing along the mantle of Captain America. I've seen the comments on social media where people are like, that's not my Captain America, blah, blah, blah. I've seen all the bullshit, but you know,
Oh,
come
so the
oh,
the worldwide gross for Ant-Man and the Wasp was about $623 million,
mm-hmm,
which is decent and reasonable.
mm-hmm.
The worldwide gross for Black Widow was 380 million.
Okay. We also have to put this one thing on it too. We have to remember Ant-Man came out before COVID. Black Widow came out after COVID. And it was a dual release. They came out in the theaters and in streaming. So that could have affected those numbers as well.
It could have, but even the streaming numbers were low for it. So
Yeah, because a lot of people don't have Disney Plus and refuse to get Disney
exactly.
Plus. But that's
And,
neither here nor there. We look, we've traipsed off into the weeds. Let's pull it back because the original intent of this, or the original start of this, was the whole John Walker thing. Having John Walker in this, I think, does kind of make sense because you just need someone who is enough of a villain, enough of a bad guy that he can come in, kind of get the action started, and just as quickly be pulled off. And like I said, watching him get punched and getting his ass whipped, that will never get old to me, whether it's in animated form or not. So he served his purpose. Going on to the rest of the episode, I will say this. I did like the episode. However, there's like one main thing that bothered me about the story. And, as I mentioned, Shang-Chi, his sister, came over to the United States, trying to find a better life, tried to save her people from this hood person and then disappeared. And then, of course, Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop now are looking for her, and they're trying to track down who this hood person was because apparently he also killed Kate Bishop's family. So the only thing about this is I feel like at that point the story started to feel a little predictable because it almost mirrors what happened in Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings in terms of Xialing being the bad guy, being the person that Shang-Chi was after without him knowing that that was who he was going after. I did kind of have a problem with that because I was like, predictable much? Like they could have done something else different, which they kind of sort of did because the hood that she was wearing was kind of corrupting her, which I was like, that kind of looks like Doctor Strange's cloak. But
I think it was.
you think it
Nope, no, it
was?
wasn't. Nope, I got that. I got that.
You
Okay.
got it?
That
Okay, go ahead.
the red hood is actually you're going to see it again in Ironheart because that's what Anthony Ramos's character is going to be wearing. And he's going to be the main villain in Ironheart. But I looked at it, I was like, I thought so too. But then I was like, they're calling it the Red Hood, and I'm like, there has to be a reason for that. So I'm like, oh, I looked it up, and then ran. Sure enough, Anthony Ramos's character in Ironheart is the Red Hood, which is probably what he probably found the Red Hood, put it on, and is actually going to. It actually is something that possesses people. It's kind of like the mask, where if you put it on, it gives you the powers that it possesses, and you don't have that much control over it. So
Okay.
that's what that is. Just like the hood chooses this person and takes them over and they end up, power tripping with it. So
Okay.
Do they
that's what that
call it
is.
the Red Hood, or they just call it the Hood?
It's just the
They
hood
call it
in
the
the
hood, but
original.
it's
Yeah.
like when you look up, I looked it up and it said it's the Red Hood. It's like the character wears a red hood and the hood has two guns with it. So it's like he basically it turns you into a bag. It turns you into a bag. It's evil and it possesses you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I want to jump on with what Hanako said. From the very beginning, I knew how this was going to play out. Like, it's obvious that his sister is going to be the hood. Like,
Right.
it's almost like you wish they hadn't even mentioned her.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, it shows her, and you're like, oh my God, it's my sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't set it up don't make it so easy for us.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, but you had to know that's how it's going to happen. It's just like everybody knew that Bucky was the Winter Soldier. It's like as soon as they saw him, they were like, "Oh, come on." It's like they talk about Bucky a little bit. Then it's like if you don't know anything about, let's like mainstream Marvel people who maybe saw the first Captain America and know that Bucky's gone, then it's like they like talk about him a little bit before the Winter Soldier, and they're like, "Oh," or they're like,
I didn't
that has
know.
to be
I like it completely escaped me. And when that reveal was made in the movie theater, I was like, oh my God, because I had no clue. So that
But
I didn't.
but the marketing wasn't trying to hide it from you.
right."
But I'm just saying, for this though, you don't really have a point of reference. So they could have gone the whole episode without him mentioning his sister,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
but it's
we
like
could have got a surprise in the end.
but from the way they did it, it's like his sister came over trying to figure out what was happening to all the Chinese people. She starts fighting somebody, then she disappears, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's where
Yeah,
this is
like I
going.
said, it was very
It's like, and
predictable.
that's all they say until she starts fighting her. The next thing you know, he takes the cloak down, and you see her, and you're like, oh, you're like, no, I'm not. I was like,
No, you're
just
not.
reveal it. It's like I
Like,
already, it's like
yeah.
just like you said, we already knew that that's who it was.
Yeah, if they
Like
had
she fought,
said she was dead,
oh,
that's
she fought the
different.
hood. She,
If she
that's what I'm
said
saying.
she had fought the hood and he killed her, that's different than saying she fought the hood and disappeared.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I know I'm nitpicking here, but I'm just kind of like, oh, don't just make it so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I
Especially to
actually
those of us who have
I really
actually
liked the
watched the movie.
episode. Huh?
Especially to those of us who have actually watched the movie, because it
Mm-hmm.
literally follows Shang-Chi and Xiaolin's story from the actual film, just with a few tweaks here and there, you know.
Mm,
But
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, yeah, Hanako's a little right on this one. She's a little
Okay,
right.
I
It's
yeah,
mean,
and I
very
mean,
derivative. It's
it,
adjusted a little bit for what if, but it's literally the same story.
like if you wanted to surprise me with this, okay, you have Shang-Chi, you have Kate Bishop, you have them looking for Shang-Chi's sister, okay? All right. We got them going. You got missing Chinese immigrants, which in that sense, it doesn't make sense that one of their own would kidnap them, especially for the purposes that we have been told the hood is trying to use them for. He's trying to create an army, basically of slaves, and it doesn't make sense. So if you want to really surprise me with this story, they could have fought, and when the hood was taken off and revealed, it could have been Clint Barton under the hood. That would have surprised the shit out of me. It could have been one of the other quote unquote good guys. It could have even, if since you're bringing in Stark Technology, you've got Simon Birch, you're talking about Hammer Industry. It could have been one of those characters, and I would have been like, oh my
Justin
God.
Hammer, Obadiah Stane.
Right.
Um, it could have been.
no, I mean,
Like to me,
I
Obadiah probably would have made more sense in this as a random, let's pull him in as the villain, than he did in the episode from a couple of.
the Red Guardian one.
Yeah, because once
Yeah.
you realize that that's who it is, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's predictable because he tried to kill Tony Stark in the movies. I'm just saying, switch it up a little bit. Don't make it so predictable. Like the whole point of What If is that you're taking characters and you're putting them in scenarios that are different from the way that we know them. And I know that there are some things that are going to stay the same with certain characters. Like I don't think we've ever seen Peggy Carter be evil in any of these episodes. You don't, there's certain characters that you kind of have to have that consistency, but they could have done a little bit different with this, and I wouldn't have been mad. But it's kind of like, it's Xialing. Of course it's Xialing. And then to make her as vengeful against her brother as she was, and we don't realize that she's being possessed by the hood until the end. It's like, so the whole point of you doing this is that you're trying to liberate your people, you're trying to band them together to make this land, this America land, what you were promised it was supposed to be. You're trying to make it the promised land. Why would you be so gung-ho about killing your own brother if saving your people is that important? Your brother could have said, no, I'm not going to help you do this. And you could have been like, okay, well, just stay out of my way. But no, you go from, oh, if you're not going to join me, I'm going to kill you. There's no in between. What?
Because she's possessed.
But we don't know that she's possessed
We we
until
we get
Yeah,
literally.
we get
but how
no
do we?
indication of her being
The stripes on
possessed.
her face could tell you could tell by the stripes on her face could tell you that something was wrong, that there was something going on with her.
But
Those just could have been scars from fighting the hood.
from fighting the hood.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
I got it right away. Okay. I'll just chalk it up as I'm just going to disagree with y'all throughout this thing because I got it right away that she was possessed by it and that she wasn't acting under her own devices. I was like, that's not her. Like, why would she say that unless she was possessed? That's literally how I was thinking. It's like she's doing this. She says she would never try to kill her brother unless it was under duress. She was under duress and
But we
under a
don't know that
spell.
about her
So
character in this, so why would we think that?
Well, she
because
damn
she
near
has
put
because
his ass. She damn near put his ass through the ringer in the Shang Chi movie.
But she wasn't
no, she
trying to
did.
kill him then, and we knew why. We knew she had a motive for that. She was pissed because he left her. She asked him
Right,
not to leave, and he was like, I'm leaving. I gotta go do this. I'll come back. And then he ghosted her. So she had the
right.
motive for
Yeah.
that anger, but she wasn't trying to kill him. She was just trying to
Well,
No,
she
get
she was
beat
this.
his
just handing him
ass.
an ass
She
whooping,
was
which
trying
he
to whip
deserved,
his ass
which is
pretty good.
understandable. I get that.
Yeah.
That's fine. But she was clearly her face was gray and scratched, and it's like that's her being possessed. It's like she was completely different than she did before.
I have a hard time making that leap of logic on that. I just because I
Okay,
just thought it
that's
was
fine.
just scars from the battle with the hood. Yeah.
Right. Because I mean,
Okay,
you can't think that you're going to have that kind of battle with someone who is that fabled in this time and in this part of the world and not walk away with a few scratches. So
yeah,
yeah,
I mean that's true, but it's like I still think that the way she looked and talked showed that she was under control, under some otherworldly control. So,
and I feel like that's only because you're familiar with the character, because again, we have no point of reference for this version of the character prior to them fighting. We don't know
okay,
what her regular voice sounds like. We don't know what her regular behavior is. We don't know what her regular personality is because we've not been introduced to that. All we know is that she came over as a hopeful young lady wanting a better life. She finds out what's going on with this hood person and him taking all her people, and she tries to fight for justice. Why would we think that she's the evil person now? Because that was nothing to do with her MO as far as what happened before she disappeared. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say that we're wrong. We just all looked at it differently, and I just feel like
yeah, that's fine.
it was kind of influenced by what we already know about the character, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I get that. I mean, it's just like I just don't see that. I just don't it. And another thing is, I'll give you that they really the way they set it up, even though it was predictable, was kind of weird. And it's like they could have done a better job of how they set it up, but it's like I mean we all knew what was going to happen, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, they could have even made John Walker the hood in this one. And I would have been like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Oh, you gonna
But
set him
that
up like
also,
what like what's his name in that, like Manny in the Manny Jacinto in the Acolyte, where he's like he's like totally inept in real life, and the next thing you know, he's like a Red Hood master.
I have not seen the Acolyte, so I wouldn't know.
Oh damn, sorry,
Yeah,
fuck,
no, it's fine.
spoiler, shit, damn,
It's fine.
my bad.
Yeah, but the other thing about this whole thing is the stuff that's happening with Kate Bishop, because while Shang-Chi is out confronting the hood, who he later finds out is his sister, Kate Bishop is being held on this train cart that they have found, and with what's his name, Simon Birch, with Simon
Hmm.
Birch's character. And
Sonny,
he's apparently like in control of the muscle for the hood. So he has all these soldiers, and he has this little device, this little pocket watch that plays a hypnotic tune, and it puts Kate kind of in a trance, the same kind of trance that they find the Chinese immigrants on the train. So when he has her in this trance, he starts monologuing.
of course, duh.
What else are mustache twirling villains supposed to
Right.
do?
Exactly. That's their
Hey,
whole purpose.
you have her under your control for right now. You have her under this trance. You don't have her shackled, handcuffed. You don't have her restrained in any other way. And
Because he
yet
doesn't need to.
uh, you don't have her restrained in any way. And then you are so fucking confident in what you are doing. You decide to tell this person who is fabled across the land for her gunslinging skills and her penchant for justice. You decide to reveal to her that the hood is not the person who killed her parents, but was. Not only did he do it because of business, oh, I enjoyed killing them. What?
And he had her gun. He was like, "I'm gonna kill you with your parents' gun." So this
I'm
is
gonna
all
kill you
poetic.
with your mama's guns. And I say this about villains all the time. I don't know what it is about them that you think that your puny little device or your puny little whatever is restraining this person enough that you can reveal the biggest thing to upset them, the like literally the main reason she is out hunting these western streets for the hood. You reveal that information to her and you think it's not going to do anything to her, like you think that there's no chance of you. I don't
I mean,
understand.
but why would he think that? But why would he think that? Because he has a whole train full of reasons to think that his watch would work. The only reason that the spell was broken is because what's his name, Kwai Jin Pham rang the bell. Ringing the bell is the only thing that snapped her out of it.
And
If he hadn't rung that bell, she would still be under his control. He has a whole train full of Chinese workers that are still under the control of the watch, even though he had it in his pocket and didn't bring it out. He brought it out for Kate and put her under a spell, and she couldn't move because that's how it worked. That's exactly how it's worked for him in the past. Why would he think that it would be different? He didn't expect quite little drunken fist to go over there and start ringing the bell and snapping her out of it. He did not expect that.
and
So
I
why would
guess
he have her
that's
tied up? He wouldn't think he needed it.
and I
I'm with
guess
Mike on this one.
that's part of the thing, because you're the evil person. You know that when they walked on this train, there were three of them. Now, granted, you sent your boys, you sent two of your henchmen to go kill the little boy.
Nope, that's the
Some,
Watcher's fault.
and I understand it, but here's my thing: as the person who is leading all of these people, you sent two men to go kill a little boy, and your two men haven't come back yet, and nothing about that concerned you.
No,
Like
because
No, they were lollygagging. They did what they were supposed to do, and they chilling.
yeah.
you
I'm with Mike on this one.
I mean,
don't
he
lollygag.
how would Sonny Birch expect a big headed extraterrestrial to knock his men off the train and save the boy. He pretty
It
much
didn't
thought the
even
boy
have
was
to be
dead.
about the watcher. You don't know who else they had with you. You don't know what this boy is capable of. You, as a villain, you are supposed to have your sights on everything. If you know you have one enemy
No, you're
out
not.
here, you have another one sitting here, there is another variable that you have not accounted for. Yes, you sent your men to go kill him. Your men have not come back. And I'm sorry, Anthony, every movie, TV show that we have seen with villains and villain bosses and henchmen don't do lollygagging. They don't do what they want to do on a whim. No, you go do what the boss tells you to do and you come back just in case the boss needs you to do something else. I am not buying. No,
I don't know. I've seen plenty of movies where the henchman lollygag. I think there was one. I think it was Once Upon a Time in Mexico where they were told to torture someone, and one of the henchmen after the boss was like, "Yeah, nah, I'm not in that torture thing," and they didn't torture the guy. So it happens.
I
It
mean,
oh,
look,
happens. I'm with Mike on this one, and up until this point, Sonny has had no reason to think that anything he does isn't working out to his benefit.
he has
He has
not had to go
not
up against
failed.
people like Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop.
Shang-Chi
Maybe
was
he
being taken.
has. They got
Shang-Chi
the
was being taken.
start technology. So apparently they do. He has succeeded at everything he's done
Basically,
up until
how
this
does he have?
point.
There's no chance he can get Stark Tech without a fight. You knew Tony Stark put up a fight, but yeah, he has Stark Tech, and it's like Shang-Chi's over there fighting with the Red Hood. He doesn't have any idea. He's not out there counting. He's not in there counting henchmen like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I only have 18 henchmen. Where are those two guys that took that little boy to throw him off the train? He don't
This
give
is
a
a
fuck
little
about
boy.
that. He has Kate Bishop. He has Kate Bishop in front of him, and he's like, and he has her mom's gun on his side, and he's like, oh, I'm about to crash her world. Let me go ahead and click and turn this on so that I can monologue for her and let her know what's up. Because it's like he doesn't care. Sonny Birch is not the level of bad guy to really cover his tracks that well. You know
Again,
that.
I don't
He
remember
wasn't that
Sonny
level of
Burch, so
bad
I don't
guy
know.
in
And
Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was a terrible,
he was,
terrible
he was
villain in
terrible.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was
He
terrible.
Which is
He's not the type
probably
he's not the
why I
type of
don't remember him. Like,
exactly. He's not the type of villain that covers his tracks like that.
I mean,
He misses the
and
spot all the time.
for example, Obadiah Stane had the same technology in the Iron Man movie, and he used it on Tony. And instead of just going ahead and killing Tony, he takes the thing out and tells Tony exactly what he's going to do, and reveals himself to be the bad guy.
and then turned
And
around and got his ass handed to him because of it.
yeah,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
because
that's the
he was
thing.
hoping. Yeah, he's over there hoping that he died. I'm like, you can't hope that he
You
hope that
And
can't
he'll
that's
die.
hope.
the point I'm trying to make with Sonny Burch. Like,
He's not that level of bad
with
guy. That's what I'm
villains.
But
trying to tell
however,
you.
right, but the
Stop
difference
monologuing.
is,
If you're gonna
but,
kill them, just kill them. Cause if you
but the,
don't, you're giving them a chance to come back and do their
right, but the
He doesn't
difference
see it like that.
is Obadiah has been failing at what he's trying to do, right? So he had the expectation of failure. Here, Sonny has not failed at everything. He's succeeded at every step of the way.
I guess. I just
So he had no reason to think that the two henchmen would get knocked off by a watcher. Like, why would he? Why would that even be something that he would consider
I
as a
get it.
possibility?
I
They
get
could
it.
have taken the time coming back. He didn't say go kill him and come back. He didn't say go take care of the kid. He didn't tell him
I
to come
guess
back.
it's just for me with evil people. And granted, I don't mind the lapse of judgment because this means that eventually our heroes will prevail. So I'm not mad about that. But if I'm looking at it from their point of view, stop talking so goddamn much and just handle your business. If you're going to kill Kate Bishop, you ain't got to tell her all this information. Just kill her and be done with it. And go on to
He
the
didn't
next
know
thing.
shit.
I know that's just, and I'm sorry, it's a thing. The Incredible spoiled me when Syndrome says no monologuing, and it's like ever since then, when a villain starts monologuing in a movie or a TV show, that's literally what comes to my mind. Oh, you're monologuing. Y'all must
No
not have watched The
monologuing and no
Incredibles.
capes. Things people should learn from The Incredibles. I'm just saying. He didn't. But like Anthony said, he had everything in control. He's like he probably didn't give a fuck. He was like fuck this. Ain't nobody gonna spoil this for me. Like screw all that.
Right.
I got a train full of Chinese workers under my control. I have Kate Bishop right here who can't do shit about anything I'm getting ready to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not a damn thing can do it. And of course it's like the little he didn't expect he didn't expect Kwai Jun to be there. He didn't expect him to be saved. But I mean, though that's like something that he had no idea. He would that didn't even even that didn't even process for him. It's
Mm-hmm.
like why? Like apparently because they didn't come. He was like if something would have happened, they would have come back and said the kid escaped. Or they would have been looking for the kid, or been like said, or they would have come back and said it. But since they didn't come back, he was like, "Oh, they must have done it." And maybe they're having an existential crisis about killing a kid. You know, maybe they're back there crying into a beer, like, "I can't believe I killed a child." He's like, it's okay, we'll get over it. But it's like maybe that's what happened. He didn't know, he didn't care because they didn't come back and say something that happened, something went wrong because he didn't expect him to. So there we go.
I guess. I guess. But okay, so let's talk about this task of the two henchmen trying to kill the little boy and the Watcher stepping in, because I will say
Mm.
this, when the Watcher was giving his dialogue and he was talking about how heroes come in all sizes, but sometimes, what did he say? Sometimes things don't go as planned or whatever. And you get to the point where it looks like the henchman is about to kill this kid. My first thought was, I said, "Oh, Watu, if you don't step your ass in and help this little boy when you've been sticking your nose in all this other business, I'm gonna be really pissed." And then, of course, he actually does step in. He thumps the two henchmen off the train so that the little boy can continue to do what he's doing. And I was just sitting there like, okay, he's gonna get in trouble for that, because the
Yeah.
watchers of the Watcher have already been looking at him, and sure enough, at the end of this episode, he's giving his little summary speech. And what did he say? He said another, I think something about another story, another wind or something like that, and the eminence comes in, and he was like, "Yeah, because of your interference, and we have decided that this cannot go on." And they kind of push him through his plane of
Hmm.
existence into wherever they're pushing him to. And I was like, "Oh,
Uh,
okay."
uh, all I can see is Bill Duke sitting at the table saying, "You know, you done fucked
You're
up,
the
right?"
fucked up, right? Bruh. I
You know,
mean,
you
it's
done
like
fucked up, right?
I get it. I mean, his heart's in a good place, but it's like for all this, this has been leading up to him getting in trouble. All three seasons have been leading up to him to this shit happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he interfered with Doctor Strange. He interfered with he pretty much gave Peggy Carter unlimited access to whatever he was doing. And it's like that's like the other watchers are probably like, "What the fuck are you doing, dog? That's a fucking human. Like that's immortal. Why are you showing mortals around our shit?" It's like
Yeah.
it's basically like it's like somebody I equate it to like someone a periphery member of a rap group bringing a girl around to the studio and they're like, "Who the fuck is this?" He's like, "No, no, no, she's cool," and they're like, "Why are you showing her all our shit?" And it's like it, I knew from last season. I was like, he should have been for all that shit he was doing with Kate Bishop back then. He should have
And
been
Captain
getting
Carter.
in trouble for that. Yeah, for Kate Captain Carter for Peggy, all that shit. He should have been in trouble like from that. Like they've been having full blown conversations about what the fuck is happening. I'm like
Right.
yeah, that it should have happened then for me.
Well, he's I
Well,
don't even know what to say. You had one job, dude. You
Yep,
had just one job.
one job.
right. Which was
Yeah,
to not interfere.
not
Watch,
one. The one rule you had:
watch and don't be seen. Watch and don't interfere. Because
don't
I will
interfere.
say this too. The way that they did the angles when the little boy was on the train and the guy was about to kill him, he looked over to the side like he saw Owatu. And the way that they had it, they had Owatu in the frame over the guy's shoulder. I was like, so does this little boy see this cosmic being right now? Right before Owatu kind of thumped them off? Because I
Probably.
feel like he
'Cause
did.
if he did, he would have freaked out.
Either
So
that
Or
or
he just would have been. He would just had a blank look, like, who the fuck?
yeah,
Like,
and
why's
then
your
if
head
he
so
turns
big?
back and looks and doesn't see him again, he's probably like, "Oh, maybe I just imagined it." I mean, he was like seconds away from getting killed, so ain't no telling what his mind
Yeah.
would have
no,
brought forth.
I don't think he saw him. I think he was like, "Oh, I'm about to die," and then he was like, "Oh, I didn't die."
Right,
That was
Yeah.
strange.
right.
Mm,
That's what it looked like. I don't think he saw Watu
yeah.
Okay,
or the
okay.
Watcher because I don't even know if we know his name yet.
Yeah, they revealed his name.
This is the last episode.
I want to say it was in the end of the first season. I think he told
Oh
Peggy
yeah,
Something.
that.
Yeah.
he told Peggy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Man, I swear to God.
Owatu is in trouble now.
that's an understatement.
Right.
Yeah.
So
He
I
about to get done up.
so the thing is, we only have two episodes left in this season. Well, not even just the season. We have two episodes left in this series.
Yep.
So I'm thinking both of those episodes, just going by what the titles have been, I'm thinking both of those episodes are going to be dealing with him and his yeah.
Yeah, because you saw when they bumped it when they hit his head into his domain, like those three shards went through space. So they have to land somewhere. So yeah, I guess they're probably going to land somewhere where there are people that can help him. I'm assuming because there's no other reason for them to focus on those three shards floating through space. So they
Yeah.
have to figure in some way.
So that means Peggy Carter, I feel like she has to come back at some point because we
Has
haven't
to be.
seen her. I don't think we've seen her in this season so far, but she's the only person who really knows that he exists aside from Black Widow.
Yeah,
So,
Uh,
that Black
I
Widow
think
is.
Strange Supreme.
oh, and Strange Supreme.
However he exists. I mean, because he basically destroyed himself in last
Yeah.
season's finale.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll see him, but I would expect to see at least Peggy, especially since she's been a prominent character in the previous two seasons. Maybe they were saving her for something big like saving the Watcher.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, she basically started this whole thing, so she has to be factored into the ending of it too.
yeah,
So
yeah. But
it'll
it's
be
going to
interesting
be
to see.
interesting to see like what kind of power they have over him and just like how do you punish something like that? How do you punish a being like that? I mean, I get you can probably just blast them out of existence, but that
Take him out.
I don't know if I would say that seems too easy.
Well,
You
no, I
know,
mean, they have to have a trial where they're like you did this, you did that, and you violated the rules of the Watchers. You were supposed to watch and not interfere, yet you have interfered constantly.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So it's
Well, I
like they have
assume
to go
that.
ahead and do all that shit and get it out of the way.
Well, they're probably more powerful than him because they actually have titles,
Yeah.
Right.
and he was granted his authority, so that authority can be taken away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we saw that Watsu is powerful, but not overly powerful because Ultron was bashing him around pretty good.
Yeah.
Like Infinity Ultron was bashing him around pretty good. So he is powerful, but he's not all powerful
Yeah.
like someone who can be like, handled like that. Yo, before we go, shout out to fucking Kate Bishop, like being the fucking gunslinger to end all gunslingers. Like that opening scene where she's just like pop, 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 then like catching other people's guns out of the air and shooting them too. I was like, how like because all guns don't shoot alike. So she literally got that and was still capping motherfuckers like around, just like grabbing the and like shooting people behind the back. And I was just like the whole time I was just like they really did a good job showcasing her gun skills.
I
I
liked
I
her in
really
this one.
appreciated that.
I
Yeah,
really
I
liked her in
appreciated
this
it.
one. So,
Yeah.
because I was kind of so-so with her in the Hawkeye series up until towards the end, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
she's
get
not that bad. But this
no, I've
version
always
of
liked it, but
her,
you might
I
as well get
liked.
used to it. Might as well get used to it because she's going to be leading Young Avengers. So just go ahead and get used to seeing
Oh
her.
yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about it now because, like I said, she grew on me
Yeah,
towards the end of Hawkeye, so it's fine. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I loved her gunslinging. I loved the partnership between her and Shang-Chi because it's like when you think about those two characters, they're kind of so far on opposite spectrums. But to put them together and to see him using his martial arts, her using her gunslinging, and it worked. I loved it. So
yeah.
yeah.
It was
Also,
cool.
I could get used to a cowboy drawling Shang-Chi. I don't know, something about the cowboy and the drawl was yes, I liked it, and I actually posted on Twitter, and I was like, I could get used to a southern speaking cowboy Shang-Chi, and seemingly you liked it, so we're besties now. But yeah.
Um,
Heck yeah, we're
um,
down.
I just want to say a shout out to Awatu in the beginning of this episode. Like, in the far fringes of the multiverse, things can get a little weird. And think, less what if and more what the hell? You
Yeah,
know,
that
where,
was funny as shit. That
where
was a great intro.
Ultron was programmed to sing show tunes. I
I was
Makes
mean,
like,
literally,
what?
literally, that's what you think of when you think about the
Yeah.
infinite possibilities. Just there's some universes where shit is just stupid, and we kind of get a piece of that in the multiverse of madness when they're falling through spoiler
Mhm.
falling through the different multiverses, and they're all different and
Yeah,
Right.
strange, you
yeah,
know, and weird. So yeah, it
yeah.
was kind of cool. It was kind of
That
cool.
was
Him,
that was funny.
yeah.
But I was trying to figure out who, because when he was talking about the infinite possibilities and the different universes, they were showing sets of characters. There was like two sets of characters that they showed before they showed Ultron as the theater performer, and I couldn't figure out who those characters were supposed to be.
There's a pirate one. I'm not sure who,
Yes, that's the one I was looking. I was like, who are those people? But I guess it doesn't matter unless those particular characters.
because they showed Throg and Gator Loki.
Yes, that's what it was. Throg and
It looks
uh
like it
alligator
almost
Loki.
it kind of looks like Black Widow and somebody.
Okay. But I
But
was
and
thinking, I was like,
Jones.
maybe they'll put those in stories too, because I was like, ever since Loki, we've been talking about Throg and Alligator Loki, and just wanting to see something with those
right.
characters more than just them kind of appearing. But again, we only have 2 episodes left, and if we're dealing with Owatu's transgressions, I seriously doubt they're not going to bring any new characters in for that. Like, it wouldn't make sense to do that at that point. So I did think that was a nice little twist. The Ultron thing threw me though, because I had to pause my TV and laugh, because I was like, that is so fucked up. But okay, yeah, that is a true what if moment. What if, I don't know, what if Ultron was the Phantom of the Opera? That just
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Oh goodness, but yes, I enjoyed this episode thoroughly. I almost want to say this is probably, maybe if not the top episode for this season, it's probably my top two, because it was fun, because
Definitely.
I already love
Yeah.
Shang-Chi as a character. Like I said, Kate Bishop, she was one of those that had to grow on me, but I do appreciate her as a character, and the fact that they made her, you know, this badass gunslinger in this one. I love it because I love seeing TV shows and movies where people are gunslingers and they do all these fancy things with the guns. I love it. So I like the fact that we got that with her. Um, yeah, this was one of those really good one off. Like, it didn't have to tie into the bigger
Mhm.
what if universe, except for Oahu kind of sticking his nose in. But other than that, it was truly like what Anthony said at the beginning, kind of like one of these anthology type episodes. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Um, Again, watching John Walker get punched will never get old. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Real quick. Kwai Jun Fan was actually an Iron Fist in 1878. Like there's an Iron Fist series about him. So that's why when they showed him doing the different martial arts styles, I was like, oh, they're kind of hinting to that. So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, he actually he exists, but it was a short run because he got killed. But yeah, it's but yeah, there's a he actually that Kwai Jun fan actually existed as an Iron Fist in the comic universe.
Okay.
Hmm,
So
cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, 2 episodes left until we have the series finale. Do you guys have any last thoughts about this episode?
Um, I,
um
I I really enjoyed this episode. It's definitely up there as far as one of the best ones, and I do like the anthology. I like that it's a standalone.
yeah.
That it doesn't have anything to do with anything else this season. So, like I said, a change in perspective makes it a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this episode. I thought that shout to them. Like, I mean, having just mentioning Stark and not showing him as far as like just his tech, having his tech, and this is the second episode that they used something going over a ravine. So they're obviously not trying to kill anybody off this season. I still I'm glad they used Sunny Birch, but I just was what was he ever saying? I like his character is just funny to me because Walt Goggins plays these kind of characters all the time, and it's just like to see him just to see him actually kind of in control and almost winning was kind of weird, but it it didn't really take away from it. And I love the final scene after she was broken from his hold, like just going around shooting everybody just like in a circle. I mean, again, I was really impressed by the way they did that, and I'm glad that they didn't make Shang-Chi and Kate love interest. Just made them partners. I think that actually made it better for me. Just to show them like just have a mutual friendship and like a mutual mission to right wrongs,
Yeah.
as opposed to that. And shout to I mean when Kate shot Xialing, I was just like I wasn't expecting her to like bust her up, like really shoot her. I
Hmm.
was just like, I thought she okay, you gonna shoot her in the shoulder to stop him, but no, she emptied the barrel in her,
Well,
and
I
I was
mean,
just like,
Jilene was about to kill her brother, and at that point, Kate didn't know that Jilene was the
yeah,
hood. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that was messed up. I mean, I felt bad for her because at least she felt bad for it. It's like
Mhm.
she was like, and Shang-Chi understood that he's like, no, the hood did, and I'm like if you understood that the thing that was wrong with her, why didn't you grab it? It's like the hood all of a sudden just floats up and is like Doctor Strange's hood, just going around trying to find
I don't think he knew either until she had been shot, because at that point, when Kate shot her, the hood came off, and when he had her in his arms and she turned around, her voice was different. She was like, brother. So
Right.
I think that's when he realized what it was. I don't think he knew that before.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Shout to the hood going off on a different adventure, trying to fuck shit up. Like cool, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it was a good episode.
All right. Well, I think that's the first time this season that we have all agreed that we enjoyed an episode, or that we had the same opinion about one of these episodes,
Yeah,
right?
I wish Anthony would have had his epiphany before the Howard the Duck episode. That way
I
we could
wouldn't
have
quite
talked.
call it an epiphany. It's just a change in perspective.
Yeah, whatever.
Yay, we all agreed on an episode, and I think that's a positive enough note to say that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.